everyone, welcome to another Classic Movie Monday, and today I'm going to be briefly diving into another technically holiday-oriented film, since not only is it in the title, but it exists consistently throughout this film and discusses various holidays, but it also brings up, I think, a lot of things that remain relevant to around this time of year and also stems a lot from films that at least were coming out around this time, at least what they were attempting to do around this period, I think is very reflective here. And as you can tell by the title, as well as probably thumbnail, we're going to be briefly addressing Holiday Inn, or at least I am. So this film came out, I believe, in 1942, if I'm not mistaken. And basically it follows the story of two basically friends, Jim and Ted, who end up falling in love with this new up-and-coming performer named Linda. And you will see to the circumstances as to how these three characters sort of end up coming together when you choose and if you choose to watch the film. But basically, Jim ends up owning this Holiday Inn, as it's called, which is basically like a performing center for holiday-oriented content. And what I mean by holiday-oriented content is they do every single holiday. So in other words, that whole place is open every holidays, and they have like a performance related to that holiday, and you will see this throughout the entirety of the film as it goes through an entire year of these holidays. And yes, we do get really random ones like Abraham Lincoln Day, George Washington Day, 4th of July, all the way up to leading to Christmas, which really is the ultimate climax of the film, and I think sort of summarizes the cultural significance that I think at least people put on Christmas during the time, which was the fact of that it was basically a time of renewal and things sort of coming to an end within the year. But basically, the good thing, at least I think within this film, is that they usually, well, at least a lot of the times in these kinds of setups where you have two people fawning over the affection of one person, usually they paint one person as a complete jerk and the other person as a really nice person, and therefore that person should end up with that person because that person's a nice person. It's a lot more in depth here, and you kind of see how the characters kind of make their mistakes and really sort of resemble more down-to-earth people, being in the circumstances that they are in. So I think from that perspective, it ultimately suits the film well, along with its musical numbers that are well choreographed and well sung, and also the characters themselves, despite their flaws, have a certain amount of charm and sophistication to them as well. So I think overall it does seem to live up to the film that it is really trying to be. And I really like the use of not really enhancing particular cliches and instead actually kind of creating its own unique story out of it. And I felt, at least here, that it felt a little bit more honest and less trying to play in with the things that I think a lot of writers were probably playing with around this time. So in that sense, I still think that's another reason too why this particular film holds up. And you ultimately want to know what happens and where it's really going. And it's interesting because the first part of the film may be kind of confusing because out of the gate they put forth the beginning as it's supposed to be set up based around these characters, and then you realize that it ends up being kind of different. So again, I think that's important to keep in mind as well. So also, this film is largely referenced to be the film that really started the um, White Christmas song. Um, and this version specifically, I think, is the one that's probably one of the more recognized versions. And it actually plays a certain role within the story that you will see. And it seems to have a certain amount of heart and um, beauty to it that you would come to expect, especially when you see the sort of importance to the song within the film. So overall, I think this is a worthy recommendation if, again, you like White Christmas, if you like the more traditional 50s/40s musicals. This is definitely another one that seems to hit the bar right as far as a holiday film is concerned. And actually, I think this one does seem to offer, I think, a more unique and interesting approach than White Christmas ultimately does. But yet at the same time, you still feel um, the charm and the uh, effort put into a lot of what is presented here, as well as within White Christmas. So I think it just ultimately depends on whether or not you prefer the way in which the plot is constructed. I definitely preferred the way in which they handle things here as opposed to White Christmas, but at the same time, there's still a lot of charm and appeal to both of them. So if you're interested in that kind of material, this one is definitely, I think, worthy of checking out. But I think that's really ultimately all I can say about the film. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and happy holidays and Merry Christmas, even though it won't be Christmas till a couple of days from now, but either way, bye-bye.